Your girl is a hoe. She is not a hoe. I can bet you 10k that she's a hoe. You're an idiot, guy. She has another nigga. Stop talking. He was holding her in places you only wish you could. Keep quiet.
Like it down there.
Let me be the judge of that. I'm tired of the same old faces, the same old things.
Like it down there.
Let me be the judge of that. I am tired of the same old faces. The same old...
The movie begins with these 5 black baddies singing and dancing about how back in the day the earth was really messed up because Titans, not to be confused with these ones, were running around causing a ruckus all over the place. But then Zeus came along, said thunder fire you and trapped them all in Kirikiri. We cut to the top of Mount Olympus where all the gods are celebrating the birth of Zeus and Hera's new son, Hercules. Now, I'm a big Greek mythology nerd, so I'll say it here now. This movie is not completely accurate to the mythos at all, but there's a lot of things I'll just have to let slide because this is a Disney movie, like how Hera is not actually Hercules' mom, or how Zeus and Hera are siblings but they are married, but they didn't mention it in the movie because it's a Disney movie, so we move. Zeus makes Hercules a Pegasus from these clouds, you know, pretty Pegasus from Teen Titans Go. Then they start bonding until one of Disney's greatest villains show up, my boy Hades. Everyone low-key hates him, but that doesn't matter. Then he comes and sees his nephew, plays with him for a bit, but he can't celebrate with them because he's still salty about Zeus putting him in charge of the underworld, this really dark and gloomy place with no electricity. Wait, that sounds familiar. And how did that meet get so long? Pause. Anyways, he gets home and calls these 2 little shits Pain and Panic, also known as PP. Hades goes to meet the Fates, these 3 wrinkly old ladies who control the life cycle of humans. So basically, if they cut a person's thread, they stop being alive. They also share one eyeball, which they use to see the past, present, and future.
Where's he out of here?
Hades asks them to tell him if Zeus's baby is going to affect his plans of taking over the throne one day. They say they can't tell him the future. Then he's like, fine girl, talk to me now. Look at your fine hair. Ew, look at how your skin is shiny. He toasts her for a bit and then they tell him that 18 years from now, the planets will align, which will give him time to unleash the Titans on Zeus so that he can rule everything. But they say if Hercules fights him, he's going to fail. Then they leave. He gets pissed and goes to get this potion that will make Hercules mortal because that's the only way you can kill a god. So later that night, and for the second time on this channel, a baby is stolen because there were no burglary-proof windows in the house. I keep saying it, but no one is listening. A window without this is like a signboard saying come and rob me. Anyways, Zeus and Hera cry because no more baby, and we cut to Pippi giving him a potion which makes him mortal. But then they hear a voice which gets them scared, causing him not to finish the last drop. This couple finds him, they're also childless, so they're like, the gods have answered our prayers. And while they are doing that, Pain and Panic turn into snakes and try to kill Hercules because he's mortal now. But he didn't finish the last drop, so he still has his godly strength. They decide not to tell Hades because if they do... Fast forward a few years later and Hercules is now a teenager, I believe, and he's still strong as fuck. So strong that this guy doesn't want his help. These kids don't want to play with him and everyone is low-key scared of him. He tries to catch a discus that the kids threw but ends up knocking down a pillar that causes a domino effect of all the other pillars collapsing. Which, my brother, were those pillars made from cardboard? Like, why did they collapse so easily? Anyways, the people get angry, saying Hercules is a menace and they call him a freak. His dad tries to confront him and he's like, they're right, and he feels like he doesn't belong here. His parents then tell him that we found this around your neck when we found you. You are adopted. And judging by his reaction, I feel like he already knew that information. So he leaves them to go find answers at the temple of Zeus with his bow legs as his only mode of transportation. He arrives at the temple and sees this giant statue of Zeus. Then he prays for Zeus to give him answers. So lightning strikes the statue and it comes to life, talking about some my boy, my little Hercules. Like, bro, this reaction is probably the most accurate thing I've ever seen in the movie. Zeus tells him that he is his dad and that he is a god, but the only reason why he's on earth is because someone stole him from them when he was a baby and turned him to a mortal, and that only gods are allowed to be on Mount Olympus. Hercules asks him if there's anything he can do about it, and he says no, there's nothing he can do, which is complete BS. So you're telling me he can create this nigga from clouds but somehow cannot turn his son immortal again? He says if Hercules can prove himself as a true hero on earth, then his godhood will be restored. He tells him to go look for a nigga called Philoctetes, the trainer of heroes. Philoctetes. So he calls Pegasus for him and sends him on his way. We got to this island where this he-goat is spying on these, I think they are nymphs, right? Turns out the he-goat is actually Philoctetes, and when Hercules asks him to train him, he says he's retired. Then Hercules asks him if he's ever had a dream about something that he's willing to do anything for. I can't keep saying Philoctetes because it's too long, so I'll just start calling him Phil. Anyways, Phil says that he's trained a lot of heroes in his time and that all of them fell his hand. But this guy, Achilles, man, Achilles was that guy. But then he had that yaya weakness, his heel. Kind of how Superman can be beaten by a glowing rock.
My organs hurt.
Phil says that his dream was to train a hero so great that the gods would hang a picture of him in the stars and people will look up and say, that's Phil's boy. Hercules says he's not like the other guys.
Okay.
Then he takes Phil outside and shows off his strength. Phil still doesn't want to train him, but then Hercules says if he doesn't become a true hero, he'll never join his father Zeus. And Phil starts laughing because he doesn't believe him, which, bro, Zeus was knocking women left and right on every weekend. Like, how is that hard to believe? Anyways, Phil tries to reject him, but Big Daddy Zeus convinces him otherwise. Then Phil starts training him Karate Kid style. Hercules grows up and then they go to Thebes for actual practicals. On their way, they hear a scream which turned out to be this lady being harassed by long jaw bum forehead over here. Hercules storms in there to confront him, but she says she doesn't want to be saved because she can handle it herself. The nigga tries to be Captain Save-A-Ho, but then he gets rocked. He gets rocked again, but then comes back with his head, sending bum forehead flying away. I really feel like she should have gone flying with him, but I digress. Long jaw comes back, so Hercules goes to fight him, and while they're doing that, Phil and I realize that Shorty is a baddie. Hercules rides Horse Guy for a bit and then defeats him. Phil tries to talk to Hercules, but he's too distracted by Greek cheeks. She tells him her name is Meg. Hercules has never been this close to a woman before, so he lags, but manages to introduce himself. He tells her, we can offer you a ride, but Pegasus is like, who's we? Because he doesn't like her. She leaves, and this is the face of a man who just encountered his first light skin. They go to Thebes, but then we find out that Meg is actually paddy with Hades, more like she works for him. So he sent her to go recruit Bum Forehead, but she couldn't do that because Hercules came and ruined everything. Hades is like, do my ears deceive me? I thought that nigga was supposed to be dead. These two know they're screwed because their unfinished work has come back to bite them in the nyash. Hercules and the gang arrive at Thebes, which is like Greek Lagos, very busy place, a lot of crazy people running around. The townspeople are busy complaining about the city and its problems. Then Hercules chimes in telling them that they need a hero, but look at their faces. Do they look like they can be impressed easily? He says that he's a hero and they clown him because he's claiming to be a doctor who has never entered the hospital before. He has no experience to back up his claim. Phil tries to defend Hercules, but the people clown him about messing up with Achilles and his heels. He gets pissed off and takes a bite out of this guy's nyash. I really feel like they should have given him at least some shorts, because my brother and Apollo, there are kids in these streets. Meg shows up asking for help because two little boys are trapped outside of town, so they fly to go help. Hercules shows up and lifts the boulder that the boys are trapped under. They start clapping for him, he's gaining some fans. Turns out the kids are actually pain and panic, and also this was a trap by Hades all along to have Hercules killed by this long-necked lizard. They start fighting, then Hercules gets eaten and he dies. The end. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. He cuts the lizard's head off from the inside of its throat and they start clapping again thinking it's over. Turns out this lizard is actually the Hydra, this snake-like creature that grows 3 heads in place of a severed one. Hercules didn't know this and just kept cutting off its head until he was left to this abomination to deal with. He gets pinned on the wall on some kinky timing, so he bashes the wall and buries the Hydra. It looks like Hercules is dead. Hades smokes that nephew pack.
He'll still be alive right now if you niggas ain't gas him up.
But nigga, this movie is literally called Hercules. Did you really think he was going to die? The people lift him on their shoulders and celebrate him while Uncle Hades gets lung cancer. After that, Hercules went on to become a really popular hero in Greece, beating all the challenges Hades would put in his way. He was hella rich and basically became a celebrity. Hades is pissed off at the fact that all his antics only made Hercules more famous. Also, he has 24 hours before the planets align and that nigga is still alive outside running around. So he remembers that every man's weakness is standing right in front of him, a light-skinned baddie with glossy lips. He wants her to go find out what Hercules' weakness is. Now, the reason why Meg is even in this situation in the first place is because she sold her soul to Hades to save her boyfriend's life, but that nigga dumped her for another woman. Now, my question is, how bad could the other woman possibly be for you to dump your fine baddie of a girlfriend who sold her literal soul to save your life? Some people cheat for the love of the game, bro. Like, they cheat for cheating's sake. Hades says that if she gets Hercules' weakness, he will set her free. We then cut to Hercules chatting with Zeus about all his accomplishments. Then Hercules asks if today is the day that he will rejoin the gods, and Zeus says, nah, you're not there yet. Zeus says being famous doesn't count as being a true hero. Then Hercules asks for help, but this nigga gives him a vague explanation, then turns back into a statue.
What? No, dude!
We cut to Hercules' palace / mansion where he's wearing Scar? Jesus, how did my boy end up here? Nigga went from king of the Pride Lands to a hoodie. Hercules is feeling down because none of this famous stuff is taking him anywhere. Phil motivates him, then some crazy girls break into his house and harass him. Phil distracts them, then Meg shows up, sweet talks him, and they leave to spend some time together. Also, her veiled scarf thingy disappears and appears between these shots. She tries to get him to talk about his weakness, using his hormones against him. Like that nigga Samson in the Bible. You rest your head on a woman's laps one time and you start snitching on yourself. He says he doesn't have any weaknesses, then they actually start falling for each other, like genuinely building a connection. But this nigga Phil of titties cock blocks my boy, saying that they should go train now. Like, look at these wicked homeboys. They can't watch a man win. Meg is busy having a fight between her brain and her heart. She doesn't want to fall in love, but she's also in love. All that one is cute, but there's no time for that bullshit. Uncle Hades is here and he wants to hear some good news. She says that I'm not doing this shit anymore, and he's like, I don't understand what you're saying. Okay, nigga, fuck you. She tries to leave, but this nigga literally owns her. Phil overhears them scheming against Hercules, but he doesn't hear the part where she says she's not helping him. Hades is like, you're stressing over one guy. She says he's different and that Hades can't beat him, but she forgot that Hades is smart. She is his weakness. We cut to Hercules training, all happy and excited because of Meg, when Pegasus spots a baddie of his own and he knows he cannot let those chicks go scot-free. But then this happens, traumatizing my guy, and then they catch him. Phil keeps trying to talk to Hercules because love blocked this nigga's ears. Then he says she's a 419 and that she's playing him. Your girl is a hoe. She is not a hoe. I can bet you 10k that she's a hoe. You're an idiot, guy. She has another nigga. Stop talking. He was holding her in places you only wish you could. Keep quiet. Phil gets pissed because Hercules is deaf to his warnings. Then he leaves. But all of a sudden, Nipa took delight because Hades is here. He introduces himself and tells him to take one day off of being a hero. Hercules tries to ignore him, but she shows him that he has Meg now, which gets his attention. Then he makes Hercules an offer. He gives up his strength for the next 24 hours and he lets Meg go. Hercules says as long as nothing harms her, and Hades says okay, if anything harms her, he'll get his strength back. Then they shake on it, aka he made a deal with the devil. Hades also takes time to expose Meg, saying she was working for him the whole time, and this nigga is in denial until these two show up. Hercules is now heartbroken, obviously. The planets align and Hades goes to free the Titan. He sets them free so they can go kill Zeus for trapping them in a place with no jollof rice for all those years. Then he sends this Cyclops on a side quest while the others march to Olympus. Hermes spots them and alerts Zeus and Hera, so now the gods charge to battle the Titan. It looks like the gods are losing. Meanwhile, the Cyclops is looking for Hercules. Hercules shows up to face this brother with uncut toenails, like damn nigga, but then no nail cutters in your prison. My boy gets bodied, and when Meg goes to free Pegasus, he's obviously mad at her, but he loves Hercules more than he hates her. So they go to find Phil, who is currently on his way to South Africa because of all those fine women that he's heard of. Meg tells him that if he doesn't help Hercules, he's going to die. Then we cut back to Olympus, where Zeus is getting cooked and frozen at the same time. Meg returns with Phil, and Hercules is like, you were right, man. She is a hoe. Phil tells him to calm down. Then when this one-eyed nigga picks him up, he gets blinded and is stripped over this ledge. His fat nyash hits the ground so hard, causing this pillar to fall. So Meg pushes Hercules out of the way, but unfortunately gets her back blown out. Hercules gets his strength back because she was harmed, so Hades' deal is broken. She tells him to go stop Hades, so he leaves. Back at Olympus, the gods have been captured, and bro, these guys disrespected this god's name so hard in this movie. It's actually baffling how they did this. Hades is finally king of Olympus, but oh no, his nephew is here again. He frees the gods and frees his father. Then Zeus decapitates this guy, scaring the rest away. Then Hercules picks up a literal tornado titan, spins it around Seth Rollins style, makes it swallow the others before throwing them into space. Hades is like, you won, but I still got your bitch, you fat motherfucker. Southside, the fates cut Meg's thread before Hercules could arrive, so she dies, and it's sad, but there was nothing he could actually do. But then Hercules gets an idea. We cut to Hades raging because he was one rice grain away from his plan being a success when Hercules busts in asking for Meg. Hades takes him to this river of the dead where all the souls are kept, including Meg's. Hercules then asks Hades to take him in Meg's place, which he agrees. He says if he can get her out, she can go, but he has to stay. This man proceeds to hit a perfect dive before Hades could tell him that he'll be dead by the time he gets to her. The deadiness of the river ages him so rapidly that the fates pull out his thread, but before they could cut it, it turns golden. He got her soul. Hades tries to bargain, then he makes the mistake of touching Meg's soul, which gets him punched into the river, where he gets flushed into the sockaway. Hercules returns Meg's soul, bringing her back to life. They try to kiss, but again they get interrupted, this time by Zeus, who brings them to Olympus, where they celebrate him for being selfless and becoming a true hero, blah blah blah. They show him his home, and then this nigga says he wants to stay on Earth with Meg. My nigga.
Is this nigga serious?
Are you serious? Like, what was the point of the whole movie if you're just going to... They met like few months ago, by the way. Also, Zeus makes him mortal, which means he could have made him immortal from the start. So all of this true hero stuff was just BS. Anyways, they kiss, they pop champagne, Aphrodite smooches Phil, they celebrate, the people look up to the stars and say, that's Phil's boy, making Phil's dream come true, and they live happily ever after. Moral of the story, love will make you do stupid things, bro.